honestly, the biggest mindfuck of this episode is the title. It isn't. Hello my beautiful geekies, welcome to another review and analysis of Westworld. This is episode 7, this title, because I can't say it. I don't know how to speak French, I am sorry. And so we open up the episode with Bernard having a flashback to his son. I am sorry, I cannot say this with a serious face anymore after the ending. So Bernard is trying to read Alice in Wonderland to his son, but his son fails. He starts dying. I'm guessing he had some type of cancer. What the hell am I saying? He had nothing. And so Bernard wakes up from a nightmare and he goes back to work. He goes into analysis on Rodrigo Santoro's character. He goes into asking him if he has started to question any reality of his world. And he shows him some pictures of the real world. He shows pictures of people who look like the butchers in hazmat suits. He shows him pictures of subways, big gigantic cities, and he still says nothing. And so Bernard lets him go, and we go on with the episode, which I cannot stress enough. What the hell? And he asks someone for Elsie, but nobody knows where Elsie is, and so he starts searching for her in his little pad, and she can't be located, and so now he's going to talk to Teresa about the satellite hack. What happens is, he doesn't have the balls to do it at the moment, and then he gets summoned by the Delos board, because they're about to do a demonstration on what is happening with the hosts, what is happening to the strays, and so on. And we catch up with Dolores, William, and Lawrence. They are on their voyage on the train, and they start getting into uncharted territory, the territory of the Ghost Nation. And so we are now having a Mission Impossible crossover. Not really. What happens in this conversation, very interesting, is something that I didn't notice before, and it's one of those obvious things. But Lawrence and William talk about his partner, Logan, and how he wanted to find out what was at the end of this thing. Due to some conversations that we'll get into later in the episode, what if Logan is the Man in Black? That's a big, obvious thing if he was, but at the same time, it's one of those things that is so obvious you never think about it. But let's think about it. Logan is a very crazy motherfucker. He wanted to kill everything, he didn't care about anything, he just wanted to find out what was at the end of this thing. The Man in Black wants to find out what is at the end of this thing, but he wants to shut it down. What if he wants to shut this down because Dolores and William left him behind to be tortured and be done with whatever the other people that caught him wanted? What if Logan is on a mission of revenge 30 years later as the Man in Black? Because grudge is a great theme in this episode. Some more conversations feed into this theory, which I'm not sure if I like it more now thinking this way than if the Man in Black is William, but we'll get to that. And so Teresa goes to talk to Tessa Thompson, which I didn't notice was Tessa Thompson. What the hell is wrong with me? Last week. And she's having some fun with Rodrigo Santoro. They start talking about having a chat about overtaking the park and Ford himself, and they want to hack the droids. They want to show that the droids, the hosts, are malfunctioning so they can overtake Ford and take him out of power. Because they don't want to just take the park from him because of no reason. They want to force him to retire, show him that he has no power anymore. But this is Ford, people. This is the guy who confronted the Man in Black. This is the guy who stops the park just by thinking about it, kind of in a Professor X way. They are not going to have much luck doing this. I love this little section of the episode where Mavis wakes up, she starts going on with her day as she usually does, and she's looking around, looking how things might be different now that she has this new level of perception. She goes into the bar, she starts having a conversation with Clem, and so they start having their usual conversation, but she still has this look in her face of how the words are programmed into her, which is very fun to see, and Clem just has no clue about this. Suddenly, everything stops. The butchers come in, and Mavis picks up a little knife and she stands still. She wants to know what's happening, she wants to know what's going on. She thinks they are coming for her, but they are actually coming for Clem. They take her away and Mavis looks on, and now she's going into full-on mission to take back Clem. I love the little detail where she enters the saloon and then she notices the piano with no one playing it, and she shuts the lid down and silence in the bar, which made the scene even more tense, which I really enjoyed. I love the scene between William and Dolores. They are on the train, they are alone, and they start having this very existential conversation about how William, when he grew up, he only lived through his books, and through the books he read, he wanted to wake up inside those stories. And when he first came into Westworld, he finally got a little taste of it, and now he understands that this doesn't tender to your lowest common sense. It actually brings out your deep, true self in this world. And Dolores talks to him about how she doesn't want to think about past or future or where she came from or where she's going to. She just wants to be. And finally William confesses to her that back home he is engaged and to be married. But finally William caves in to his true self and he has some fun with Dolores, which none of us can blame him for. We come to my second favorite scene in this episode, and that is Tessa Thompson and Teresa showcasing Clem and what is malfunctioning in the hosts to Ford and to Bernard. They demonstrate this through Clem teasing a guy who, from the looks of it, was a host, and she starts teasing him like she would in the saloon to any other man, but the guy starts beating her up, and then they start over. They stop Clem, they put her back on her seat, and they tell her to start over. She says the same thing again, but as the guy is going to punch her again, she starts beating the crap out of him. She throws him against the glass. She starts beating his head against the glass over and over, and the guy is finally dead. Finally, Hemsworth goes into the same room as Clem, and he asks her to stop. Stop all motor functions. He keeps repeating this. She isn't stopping. As soon as she starts heading into him, he shoots her. She's down, and now they want to take the hosts down. They want to revamp the program because Bernard programmed half of them. So there is half of these hosts that nobody, maybe not even Ford, understands. And they fire Bernard. They fire Bernard because he has nothing to say about his culpability. He cannot get himself rid of this situation, which kind of leads us into the biggest twist in this episode. But that is the ending. I will talk about that only in the ending of this review. But what I liked most about the scene was just Ford's calm and collective stance through all this. He doesn't say nothing about Bernard's firing, which makes sense by the end of this episode, but he's just there. He knows he has control. These people can do nothing to him. Ford is a menace by existing, and I love how Anthony Hopkins can portray that just by being Anthony frickin' Hopkins. This guy is so good on this show. We get back to the morning after. Dolores and William had some little fun, and that is the second most action they'll get in this episode because suddenly they are stopped and ambushed by Los Confederados. They start shooting up the train, and then Lawrence sends in a dead man on a horse with a white flag. He shoots that man, and he clearly has some nitrate in him because he explodes. The Confederados are just out of themselves. They don't know what just happened. And then William, Lawrence, Dolores, and the others take off on horses. We start a big horseback race through the forest. Everyone is shooting everyone. Suddenly, Dolores' horse stops and she falls. I don't know why that happened. There was just no reason for it. But alright. And William gets Dolores. They are on the same horse now. They are still running away. And suddenly, the Ghost Nation comes in. They start beating up those Confederados. They start butchering them. And William and Dolores have time to escape. They finally stop at the hilltop where they see mountains meeting the sea.
Burn the land and boil the sea. You can't take the sky from me.
Just like Dolores had dreamed and wanted to see. And they finally are parting ways. Which makes me think even more that Logan could be the Man in Black because William and Dolores are now going into uncharted territory no one has seen and no one has come back from. Lawrence goes on with his life, and William and Dolores now are going into uncharted territory, which I don't think the Men in Black would have seen if William is the Man in Black. Now, I do believe there is the possible theory that Logan could be the Man in Black going to revenge because he wouldn't have known uncharted territory, that is, if he is William. So now Mavis, she's being taken care of by Felix, of course, and Douchey McDoucheface is now with him. He's got a new partner, but now Mavis wants to find Clem. Where is she? And so they go searching for her, and Douchey McDoucheface is about to lobotomize Clem. They're about to take her over, to revamp her, and so Mavis doesn't want this to happen. But Mavis tells Douchey McDoucheface and Felix that she wants to get out of it. They don't want to take her out. She is made to be here. Every part of her skin is part of the park. They can't take her out. Well, Mavis is going to get what she wants, otherwise she'll kill them both and maybe even more people. I can't wait to see what happens here, because then we go to the best scene in this episode. Bernard takes Teresa to that little house of Ford's host family. He wants to show her the hosts. It is nighttime. They can't see anything. The hosts are not there. And so Teresa finds a door. And I thought this was weird at the moment because Bernard asks, "What door?" And I'm like, that door, dude. Just look. He didn't even look at the door. And so they go down and they see that they have a little facility there, a little chamber where hosts are being made, which is very recent. That is very updated. That is just like updated technology like they do in the main places of building the hosts. Which is weird because that house was clearly built secretly when the park was created by Ford. Teresa finds some plans. She finds a plan that says Dolores prototype, which is kind of conflicting with the fact that Arnold did create Dolores, but then all is explained because Teresa shows Bernard a model. And Bernard just, okay, a model, and suddenly there is Ford, the master of everything, the Professor X, the Odin, if you will, of this whole thing. He confronts Teresa about wanting to take him down. He's not having it. He's a creator of this. This is his dream, his and his friends, and he's not going to let anyone take it away from him. And we get to reveal that Bernard is a host. What in the hell? What? Bernard is a host. He did everything Ford asked to. That is why the hosts last week didn't obey to him, because Bernard is a host just like they are. A special kind of host that was created by Ford personally only to obey him. And now Bernard is going to take care of Teresa, because Teresa, now that she knows this, she can't go out into the world. She tries to contact people. She can't. Everything is offline. And Ford goes into her ear and says, like I said, I built all of this. And now what the hell does that mean? I said this a few episodes ago, but this show is so complex, I sometimes forget it. We don't know who is a host, who is a guest. We don't know who is human, who is an android. We don't know anything. For all that I know right now, the twist could be that Robert's friend Arnold could be a host himself, and he created other hosts and he wanted more for himself. And that's why he wanted a host with conscience, so they could be just as human without anyone else notices. Who knows? Who knows if William or Logan is the Man in Black? Who knows what's going to happen to Dolores now that she just wants to be? Who knows what's going to happen with Bernard now? Who else knows? Who knows what's going to happen to Elsie? We didn't see anything from Elsie right now. And is Elsie a host herself? Because she just doesn't like hosts at all. She has no care for them. So what is going to happen? Let me know all of that in the comments below, beautiful geekies. This is your time to share your theories, because this episode just blew my mind. Did it blow yours? Let me know in the comments below, as well as your questions for the hashtag Fantastic Moana Q&A. You have until this Thursday to send in your questions, because tomorrow I'm seeing Fantastic Beasts, and of course bringing you a spoiler-free review for that, and a spoilers review on Friday. If you enjoyed this review, give it a like and share the video. That is a big way for you guys to help me out. And subscribe if you haven't, to join the beautiful geeky community where we can be geeky united. I have to get over this episode as I am editing to bring this video to you guys. I hope I can do it. Stay beautiful, stay geeky, drink lots of water. You need to stay hydrated today after this big twist on Westworld. Shit!